Welcome back to Tell Me More Stories, Told as Podcast,
Yes.
where we dig deep into the stories behind the names.
Hey.
Today, we're diving into the career of Billie Eilish.
Okay.
She's been making waves in the music industry for what feels like forever, but she's still so
I
young.
know.
It's almost unbelievable how much she's accomplished already.
It really is.
I mean, where do we even begin?
Well, I think what's fascinating is that her journey didn't start with like a massive label
Right.
pushing a manufactured pop star.
Yeah.
It was much more organic than that.
Okay, so rewind back to 2015.
Okay.
Billie's 13 years old
Wow.
and uploads Ocean Eyes to SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Did she have any idea this song, written and produced with her brother Phineas, would blow up the way it did?
Probably not. But I think what's interesting here is that even at that early stage, there was something special about the song.
Yeah.
It wasn't your typical teen pop fare.
Right.
You know, it had this haunting atmospheric quality that really drew people in.
And the strategy her team used early on was really different, too.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't chasing radio play right away. It was
Right.
all about building a persona, an aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like what hip-hop artists were doing at the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think of artists like Travis Scott or Chance the Rapper. They cultivated a whole world around their music, a distinct visual style and vibe that helped them stand out.
Yeah.
Billie's team took a similar approach, and it clearly worked.
I mean, even before her debut album, she was getting major attention.
Yeah.
2017,
Okay.
Apple Music featured her at South by Southwest
Wow.
and even named her their Up Next artist,
Huge.
which came with a mini documentary, a live EP,
Oh, wow.
and an interview with Zane Lowe.
That's amazing.
That's huge for an artist who hadn't even released a full album yet.
Absolutely. And it shows that they weren't just relying on the music to speak for itself. They were actively building a narrative around Billie,
Yeah.
creating this sense of anticipation and intrigue.
And then there's the role of streaming.
Yeah.
Like, Spotify was instrumental in getting her music out to a wider audience.
For sure.
Playlists like Today's Top Hits
Right.
exposed her to millions of new listeners.
It's a prime example of how streaming can really make or break an artist's career,
Yeah.
especially in today's landscape where radio plays a much smaller role.
So, then comes 2019.
Okay.
Billie drops her debut album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go?
Right.
And it just explodes.
It blew up.
#1 charts globally.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember thinking, okay, she's officially arrived.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't just about the commercial success.
Yeah.
The album was critically acclaimed, too.
Right.
It felt like a real turning point in pop music.
It did, and one of the things that made it so remarkable was how cohesive it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a collection of singles.
Right.
It felt like a complete artistic statement, with each song building on the last.
And let's not forget the record-breaking feat of having every song except Goodbye
Yeah.
chart on the Billboard Hot 100.
Crazy.
No female artist had done that before.
I know, it's wild.
It speaks to the album's depth and how it resonated with a massive audience.
It does.
There was something in there for everyone.
For sure.
And then, of course, there's Bad Guy,
Oh, yeah.
which dethroned Old Town Road
I remember that.
to claim the #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100.
Huge.
It felt like a real moment.
It was.
Like, Billie was the first artist born in the 2000s to hit #1 on the Hot 100, and the youngest since Lurda to achieve that.
Wow.
It solidified her position as a pop culture phenomenon.
Totally.
Everyone was talking about that song.
It was everywhere.
It was everywhere.
Yeah.
But beyond the catchy melody and the subversive lyrics,
Mhm.
there was something about the whole aesthetic of that era that was so captivating.
It was dark. It was edgy. It was playful.
Yeah.
It challenged the conventional image of a pop star,
Right.
especially a female one. You know, she was wearing baggy clothes, sporting green hair, and singing about things that weren't typically addressed in mainstream pop music.
And that rawness really connected with people,
It did.
especially young people who were looking for something different,
Yeah.
something that reflected their own experiences and anxieties.
Right. She wasn't afraid to be vulnerable, to talk about mental health, to explore the darker side of things.
Yeah.
And that resonated with a generation that was growing up in a world that often felt overwhelming and uncertain.
Speaking of connecting with people,
Yeah.
her success at the 2020 Grammys was incredible.
Oh my gosh.
18 years old,
So young.
and she swept all 4 main categories.
Wow.
Best New Artist,
Okay.
Record of the Year,
Uh-huh.
Song of the Year,
Yeah.
and Album of the Year.
Sheesh.
The youngest person ever to do it.
That night was historic.
It was.
It was a clear sign that the music industry and the world were ready for something different, something that challenged the status quo.
And for anyone who's enjoying this deep dive into the world of Billie Eilish,
Yeah.
don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode of Tell Me More.
Yes.
We've got more incredible stories coming your way.
Absolutely. And speaking of incredible stories, Billie's journey didn't stop there.
Okay.
She went on to achieve even more milestones,
Like what?
like becoming the youngest artist ever to write and perform a James Bond theme song.
Right.
No Time to Die.
Wow.
It wasn't just a great Bond theme, it was a chart-topping hit.
Yeah.
It was the second Bond theme to reach #1 in the UK and the first by a female artist.
That's amazing.
And it showed her versatility as an artist.
Right.
She could seamlessly transition from the dark, introspective world of her debut album to the sophisticated cinematic world of James Bond.
It's amazing how she can move between these different genres and styles while still maintaining her unique voice.
I know.
You always know it's a Billie Eilish song.
Exactly. And that's what makes her so compelling as an artist. She's constantly evolving, pushing boundaries, and experimenting with new sounds.
Her second studio album, Happier Than Ever, which came out in 2021,
Yeah.
is a perfect example of that.
Okay.
It was another global success.
Mm-hmm.
But it also showed a different side of Billie.
Yeah.
More mature, more
Yeah.
introspective,
Uh-huh.
more vulnerable.
There was a real sense of growth and evolution on that album.
Yeah.
Both musically and lyrically.
For sure.
She was tackling more complex themes,
Right.
exploring her own personal struggles and anxieties in a really raw and honest way.
And I loved the limited edition release of that album.
Oh, yeah.
Made from recycled vinyl scraps
Wow.
with Gucci design nail stickers.
So cool.
Talk about style and sustainability combined.
It was a really creative and thoughtful way to package the album.
Yeah.
And it spoke to Billie's own commitment to sustainability and her willingness to use her platform to advocate for important causes.
And during this time, she was everywhere.
Oh, yeah, she was busy.
A Disney Plus concert film, Happier Than Ever. A love letter to Los Angeles. A world tour.
Wow.
She was a true force of nature.
She was. And it's remarkable how she managed to juggle all of these projects while still staying true to her artistic vision and her commitment to connecting with her fans in a genuine way.
Then in 2022,
Okay.
she surprised everyone with a 2-track EP called Guitar Songs.
Right.
It featured TV and the 30th.
Yeah.
I remember being so excited when that dropped.
Yeah, me too.
It felt like a really intimate and personal release.
It did, and TV in particular was a powerful statement. She addressed the overturning of Roe v. Wade in that song,
Right.
using her platform to speak out about an issue that was deeply important to her.
And she didn't wait around for a big promotional rollout.
Yeah.
She just put it out there,
Huh.
which I think says a lot about her desire to connect with her fans directly and to use her music to engage with current events.
It shows that she's not afraid to be politically engaged and to use her voice to advocate for change.
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of young people really admire about her.
Then in 2024, we got her third studio album, Hit Me Hard and Soft.
Okay.
It's another great addition to her discography,
Mm-hmm.
showcasing her continued growth as the songwriter and producer.
There was a real sense of experimentation on that album.
Oh, yeah.
She was playing with new sounds, exploring different genres, and pushing her creative boundaries even further.
Okay, but let's talk about the sheer volume of accolades she's racked up.
I know, it's incredible.
9 Grammy Awards,
Wow.
2 American Music Awards,
Okay.
3 Brit Awards,
Uh-huh.
2 Golden Globe Awards,
And
2 Academy Awards.
It's mind-blowing. And she's only the second artist in history to win all 4 main Grammy categories in the same year.
Wow.
A true testament to her impact on the music industry and culture as a whole.
It's almost hard to believe that she's achieved all of this before even turning 23.
I know, it's crazy.
It really makes you wonder what she'll do next.
I think that's part of what makes her so fascinating. She's unpredictable, she's always pushing boundaries, and she's not afraid to take risks.
Right.
It's an exciting time to be a Billie Eilish fan because you never know what she's going to do next.
So we've covered a lot of ground here,
We have.
but I think it's important to step back and look at the bigger picture.
Okay.
What is it about Billie Eilish that has made her such a global phenomenon?
Mm-hmm.
Why does her music resonate with so many people?
That's a great question, and I think there are a few key factors at play here.
Okay.
First, she's incredibly talented.
Oh, yeah.
She has a unique voice, she's a gifted songwriter, and she's constantly evolving as an artist.
I completely agree. But there's something more to it than just talent, right?
Absolutely. I think another key factor is her authenticity.
Okay.
She's not afraid to be herself, to be vulnerable, to talk about the things that matter to her.
Yeah.
And that resonates with people, especially young people who are looking for someone to relate to.
She doesn't shy away from the tough stuff.
No, she doesn't.
She talks about anxiety, depression,
Yeah.
body image, and the pressures of fame.
Right.
And she does it in a way that feels raw and honest.
Exactly. And that's what makes her so relatable.
Right.
She's not trying to be perfect. She's just being herself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that we can all connect with.
And I think it's important to note that she's doing all of this while being incredibly stylish and visually captivating.
Oh, for sure.
Her music videos are works of art.
Yeah.
Her fashion choices are bold and unique,
Mm-hmm.
and she's created a whole world around her music that is both dark and beautiful.
She's a true artist in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes her so special. She's
Yeah.
not just a singer.
Right.
She's not just a songwriter. She's
Yeah.
a complete creative force.
And she's using her platform to speak out about important issues.
Absolutely.
She's a vocal advocate for climate change,
Mm-hmm.
mental health awareness, and women's rights.
She's not afraid to use her voice to make a difference. And that's something that I think a lot of people, especially young people, really admire about her.
So to sum it all up,
Okay.
Billie Eilish is a once-in-a-generation talent.
Mm-hmm.
She's a gifted musician, a powerful voice for her generation, and a true original.
And I think her story is far from over.
Right.
I can't wait to see what she does next.
Me neither.
It's going to be exciting.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really incredible to think how
Right.
much she's accomplished.
At such a young age.
It's such a young age.
Right. It feels like she's just getting started.
It does.
And you know, one thing that really strikes me about her music
Yeah.
is how it defies categorization.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't just put her in a box and say,
Right.
oh, she's pop
Yeah.
or she's alternative.
Exactly.
There's this fascinating blend of genres and influences going on.
Absolutely. You hear elements of electropop, indie pop,
Yeah.
and even some darker, more experimental sounds that draw comparisons to artists like Lana Del Rey. But it's all filtered through her own unique lens.
Right.
She's creating something entirely new.
And her brother Phineas plays a huge role in that too, right?
Yes.
He's not just her producer.
Yeah.
He's her co-writer and musical partner.
Right.
They have this incredible synergy together.
They do, and I think their close relationship is a big part of what makes their music so special.
Yeah.
They have this deep understanding of each other, both musically and personally,
Right.
and that comes through in the songs.
You can really feel that intimacy and connection in their music.
Yeah.
It's like you're getting a glimpse into their creative process, their
Mhm.
shared experiences,
Yeah.
their bond as siblings.
Exactly, and it adds a layer of depth and authenticity to the music that's hard to replicate.
And then there are the music videos.
Oh, yeah.
They're not just promotional tools.
Yeah.
They're like mini movies,
Right.
each one with its own distinct visual style and narrative.
They're visually stunning, often surreal, and sometimes even a bit unsettling. They perfectly capture the mood and atmosphere of her music.
Like, remember the video for When the Party's Over?
Oh, yeah.
The black tears streaming down her face.
So good.
It was so simple,
Yeah.
yet so powerful and evocative.
That's a great example of how she uses visuals to amplify the emotional impact of her music.
Right.
She's not afraid to experiment, to push boundaries, to make people feel something.
And it's not just the music videos.
No.
Her whole visual style is so distinctive.
It is.
Like those oversized silhouettes,
Uh-huh.
the neon green and black color palette, the
Yeah.
chunky jewelry.
She's created this iconic look that's instantly recognizable,
Mhm.
and it's become synonymous with her music.
It's almost like she's created her own universe
Right.
with its own set of rules and aesthetics.
Yeah.
And her fans have fully embraced it.
Totally.
They dress like her.
Yeah.
They dye their hair like her.
Uh-huh.
They even get tattoos inspired by her lyrics.
It's become a whole subculture,
Yeah.
and it speaks to her power as an influencer and a cultural icon.
And she's also been savvy about branching out into other areas,
Mhm.
like product collaborations and endorsements.
Like those ukuleles she released with Fender.
Yeah,
It was a smart move.
it was.
It allowed her to connect with aspiring musicians in a whole new way.
And it fits perfectly with her image.
Right.
She's cool.
Yeah.
She's creative.
Mm-hmm.
She's making music accessible to everyone.
Totally.
But what I find truly remarkable
Yeah.
is how she uses her platform to speak out about important causes.
Absolutely. She's become a voice for her generation, speaking out about climate change,
Yeah.
women's rights, body shaming,
Right.
and mental health.
She's not afraid to use her platform to make a difference.
No, she isn't.
And she does it in a way that feels authentic and genuine.
Her short film, Not My Responsibility,
Yes.
was a powerful statement against body shaming and the unrealistic beauty standards imposed on women.
That film really resonated with people.
It did.
It was raw.
Yeah.
It was honest. And it sparked important conversations about body image and self-acceptance.
And then there's Your Power,
Oh, yeah.
a song that directly addresses the exploitation of young women,
Right.
particularly by men in positions of authority.
Mm.
That song was a wake-up call for many people.
It really highlighted the power dynamics that often exist in those situations.
Yeah.
And the importance of speaking out against abuse.
And what's admirable is that she's not just talking the talk,
No.
she's walking the walk.
Yeah.
She's made conscious choices in her career to align with her values.
Right.
Like choosing to work with female directors and photographers, using her platform to promote sustainable practices, and donating to charities that support causes she believes in.
She's using her influence to make a positive impact on the world.
Yeah.
And that's something that we can all learn from.
And with all of this fame and success,
Yeah.
it would be easy for her to lose sight of herself.
Right.
But she hasn't. She's managed to stay grounded, to maintain her sense of humor, and to keep her focus on the things that matter most to her, the music, her fans, and her values.
It's a testament to her character and her strength.
It is.
She's not letting the pressures of fame define her. She's staying true to herself.
And that's what makes her such a compelling role model for young people.
Right.
She's showing them that it's okay to be different, to embrace your individuality.
Yeah.
And to use your voice to make a difference.
She's proving that you can be successful without compromising your values or your authenticity.
And that's a powerful message that resonates with people of all ages.
So where do we go from here?
I don't know.
What's next for Billie Eilish?
That's the million-dollar question, and I think the answer is that nobody really knows, not even Billie herself.
But that's what makes it so exciting, right?
Yes.
She's constantly evolving. She's always pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
And she's not afraid to take risks.
She could release another groundbreaking album. She could start her own fashion line. She could direct a movie.
Wow.
Or she could completely reinvent herself in some way we haven't even imagined yet.
The possibilities are endless.
They are.
And that's what makes her such a fascinating artist to follow. She's unpredictable, she's inspiring, and she's constantly reminding us that anything is possible if you're willing to dream big and work hard.
And I think that's a message that we all need to hear right now,
Yeah.
especially in a world that can often feel overwhelming and uncertain.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Billie Eilish,
Okay.
I want to leave you with this thought.
I'm listening.
Pay attention to the artists who are pushing boundaries,
Okay.
who are challenging the status quo,
Mm-hmm.
and who are using their voices to make a difference.
Because those are the artists who are shaping the future.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who are going to inspire the next generation of creators and changemakers.
And who knows, maybe one of those future icons is listening to this podcast right now, dreaming of following in Billie Eilish's footsteps.
Yeah, it really is inspiring.
And it's amazing
Mm-hmm.
that she's done all this
Right.
while staying true to her roots.
That's right. She's still working with her brother, Phineas. They're still making music together in their home studio.
And it's a reminder that you don't need a fancy studio or a big label to create something special.
Nope.
Sometimes all you need is talent, passion, and a strong connection with the people you're creating with.
Exactly. And I think that's a message that resonates with a lot of young artists who are just starting out.
Yeah?
It gives them a hope that they can achieve their dreams, too.
So if there's one thing we can all learn from Billie Eilish, it's this.
What's that?
Don't be afraid to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Embrace your quirks, your flaws, your unique perspective on the world,
Okay.
because that's what makes you special.
Well said. And don't be afraid to use your voice to speak out about the things that matter to you.
Right.
Whether it's through your art,
Yeah.
your activism, or simply by having honest conversations with the people around you.
Because every voice matters.
It does.
And together we can make a difference.
Absolutely.
Well, on that note,
Yeah.
I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into the incredible world of Billie Eilish. But before we go,
Okay.
I want to leave you with one final thought.
I always love a good parting thought.
Billie Eilish is more than just a pop star.
Mm-hmm.
She's a cultural icon,
Yeah.
a role model,
Right.
and a force for change.
She's a reminder that we can all achieve great things if we're willing to be ourselves, to work hard, and to use our voices to make the world a better place.
So thank you for joining us on this journey.
It's been fun.
And until next time,
Okay.
keep exploring.
Yes.
Keep listening. And keep telling those stories.
This has been Tell Me More Stories Told as Podcasts.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.